Hey Libra, how are we today? Just doing our weekly readings. This week we're actually doing the monthly readings. So looking ahead at July, what's going to be happening for you, what you need to keep an eye out or on in July. Okay, this week I am going to be doing a what I like to call a 3 by 3 spread. So we are going to be looking at the important energy surrounding you in July, career and finances, as well as love. And we're going to be drawing 3 cards for each section there. Firstly, an overview, then the challenge that you'll be facing in that area, followed by advice. All right. I do also have here the Shine from the Inside Oracle. We're going to just grab some general overview energy for you all together. I have the Green Glyphs Lenormand I'm using as the main deck, and then I have a clarifying deck here, the Boji Blog Lenormand as well. All right, so getting into it for you, Libra, starting off with your overview. Libra energy for July 2025. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as well, guys, so you can stay up to date with all the readings. Leave me comments and let me know if there's any particular topics you would like to look at, any specific questions people might have, all that sort of stuff. I love reading all your comments. I love the likes and the subscribes. Share with a friend. Trying to grow the channel just a little bit at the moment, guys. I am just a super small channel, so I do really appreciate each and every one of you. Libra, one of my best friends is a Libra. Gotta love Libra. Libra, July. Celebrate yourself. You deserve it. Yay. Okay, so good energy for your month of celebration of yourself. For a lot of you, I feel straight away that there is some sort of success, something coming through for you this month. It's telling me the phrase indication of success, like an indicator of success, something that you're seeing this month that's showing you, geez, Libra, you're awesome. Okay, so I'm going to grab your 9-card layout straight out, starting off with the important energy for Libra in July. Challenge and advice. Okay, career and financial energy for Libra in July. Overview, challenge and advice. And love energy for Libra in July. Overview, challenge and advice. Definitely seeing some stuff going on for you this month, Libra. It's going to be one of those months. That's why it's important for you to celebrate yourself this month, because, there's actually some indicators of success coming through for you this month, but they seem to be coming through in unexpected ways, unusual ways that you may not see as reason for celebration. Okay. It's kind of that thing of like, sometimes change is uncomfortable and scary when it's happening, but then you look back and it's like, oh, I'm so glad that happened. Like, sometimes the things that in the moment seem like, you look back at them and you go, oh, I'm actually really glad that happened, because that's exactly what needed to happen to move that situation forward, to resolve something. Or if that never had have happened, then I never would have had this and that. It kind of feels like one of those months, to be honest. So it is going to be a little bit rough on you, I feel. But there's a reason. There's a method to the madness this month. Okay, Libra. So try to remember that, when things do get a bit rough for you this month, try to remember that there is a reason behind it all. You just don't know the full schematics yet. Okay. So we do see the overview of your month, we have the stork coming through. So things definitely really getting stirred up for you this month. A lot of energy just in general being stirred up, which is stirring up new things for you, new ideas on current things, new ideas on things that haven't happened yet, new ideas on things that happened years ago, just new perspectives and new ways of looking at things. And because this is kind of like it's kind of like the card of new, like generating new energy, but sometimes things have to get stirred up in order to create the new. Sometimes shit gets stirred up in order to create the new energy. So it's a bit, it is going to be a bit of a whirlwind, I feel, this month, with that stork leading you into it. But the stork, it's really, because the interesting thing is the stork is the pregnancy card. Okay, so it shows us that, a pregnancy leading us into, something getting stirred up and, built up and built up and built up and built up until it births out into this world as a child. And then, as we all know, children are, most amazing, beautiful things, but it's a whirlwind. It's crazy. It's unpredictable. It's a lot of things that you never expected, good and bad. A lot of people are never prepared for that child and the reality of having a child, and that's sort of what your month is like. Not gonna lie, it's this crazy energy going on, and it's unpredictable. Seems to be the thing here. Your biggest challenge this month, we do have the sun. Okay, so you are going to be challenged because this new ideas on things and new perspectives on things. It is going to bring some things to light that may feel uncomfortable. That may be things that are coming to light, truths that are coming to light, personal epiphanies that are coming up this month. That you're kind of like, oh, I don't know what that means. I don't know where that leads me from here. It just feels like a lot of uncertainty coming through with things coming out into the light at the moment, because as a challenge, that is the card of happiness as well. So it's kind of like you're being challenged with the idea of happiness. Like, I don't, sometimes happiness is uncomfortable because you're not used to just being happy. So sometimes that can be really uncomfortable. Warmth, sometimes warmth can be uncomfortable because, that sun, if you've ever been to Australia, you know that the sun can be very unpredictable, and, you can be out for 10 minutes and you end up, sunburnt. That you could go out the same, it looks the exact same, it's the same temperature outside, and you go out and it's a lovely day for a picnic and it's a beautiful day, and then the next day you go out and it looks the exact same, you're getting sunburnt. So it's very unpredictable sometimes. And that's kind of what's happening for you this month. It's just like so much is going on that it's just like, I don't know whether I should be happy or whether I should be screaming, or there's something maybe going on for a lot of you where it's like, this makes me happy, but I don't want to show that this makes me happy because, there's something else connected to this. It does feel like there's some, happiness this month that you feel guilty for being happy about. So I'm not sure exactly what that is, but your advice this month is the albatross. Okay, so this is the secondary cross card in this particular deck, and it does talk about, taking one for the team. So your advice is to kind of take one for the team this month. Sometimes, you need to shoot down that albatross to make sure that you have smooth sailing for the rest of the journey. Sometimes you need to sacrifice for the greater good. So, maybe, especially with happiness as your challenge here, maybe there is some happiness that you're needing to, something that makes you happy that you're actually needing to sacrifice for the greater good this month, as well. So that's your advice. So sacrificing something for the greater good, taking one for the team. this month. But I really feel as though that's just going to happen automatically. It's just going to be very natural for you to do that this month. It doesn't feel like it's having to actually choose to do that. It feels like it's just sort of happening. To be completely honest, this month feels very unpredictable for you, Libra. It feels like things are just happening. You don't really have much control, which is sometimes very, very difficult to not have that control over everything that's going on. It does seem here that with your career and money, the overview here, we have the snake. Okay, so picking up a few things from that energy here. Deception, betrayal, temptation coming through with career and money. It does feel more centered around money. Although I'm actually getting a divide there. So the deception and betrayal seems connected to career and work. The temptation, money. Okay, so I do feel for a lot of you there is some sort of temptation to overspend, or it doesn't even feel like it's necessarily overspending, but it's just not tightening your purse strings kind of thing is the temptation for you this month, to just spend rather than being holding your money very tightly this month. I do feel as though that, like, even before we're even looking at your advice, I am kind of going to advise you here, Libra, to hold on to your money this month, to actually try to overcome that temptation to just spend whatever you need to spend. Be very, very conscious of what you're spending this month. I do feel as though it is very necessary for you to actually tighten those purse strings a little bit this month, and to avoid the temptation of spending on things that are not completely necessary. I'm just sort of being given that message between wants and needs. So not spending on wants this month, only spending on needs. Like, if you have to pay a bill, fair, but I would like that new handbag. Maybe not this month, okay? The deception and betrayal, it does feel as though this is a person around you at work, within your career. I would say it's probably a Virgo for a lot of you. It does feel like a Virgo, or it could be a Scorpio as well. So I do have the Virgo and Scorpio cards coming through in this portion. It does feel like it doesn't necessarily need to be like a huge deception or a huge betrayal. It could just be like a little white lie that somebody is telling, but it just makes things harder for you this month around work. Okay, we do have your challenge is the tree. So growth is the challenge here. So that's why I'm saying, don't overspend, because your challenge is to grow your money this month. You're going to find it very difficult to grow your savings this month. It's going to be very stationary, if not dipping down. Whereas, that's why I tighten the purse strings so that it at least stays even rather than dipping down. Growth is a challenge for you this month. It's growing more money, not an easy task for you this month, Libra. But it does feel more geared towards this message about a work career. The deception or betrayal has got something to do with, stepping on your growth potential, your potential to move higher forwards in wherever your company or whatever it is that you're doing here. Something to do with branching out, or the branch that you work at, or growth, and maturity and wisdom to do with growth and whatnot, does seem to be restricted by somebody else. Okay, so there is a bit of a snake in the grass in the career area here. So keep an eye out for that, because I'm just kind of getting, forewarned is forearmed. That just being aware of that is going to help you avoid that a little bit here. Your advice is the whip. Okay, so not being afraid of conflict. Don't be afraid of conflict. Don't be afraid of arguments, and standing your ground and asking for what you deserve. Don't be afraid of punishment either. All right. The advice is tension, drama is actually on your side this month. That it's kind of like, if you face this head on and call somebody out, like, why did you tell me that white lie? And not being afraid of the argument that's bringing about, that's going to actually, combat this energy here. So I do feel as though, using conflict as your friend this month, especially at work or, in your career, because working it out is actually going to help resolve things in a much smoother way for yourself. And I feel like that's where this is coming back into play as well, that celebrate yourself. You deserve it. If you don't face that conflict, you're not going to deserve it. When you get through that conflict and you resolve that conflict by not being afraid of the punishment, not being afraid of, getting into a bit of an argument with somebody here, standing your ground when you know you're right or whatever, when you know someone has deceived you in some kind of way, standing your ground and not being afraid of that argument that brings, that's where you celebrate you. And I feel like that's where not only you celebrate you, but, other people at the workplace celebrate you as well. Because it kind of feels like for some of you here that you engaging in that conflict with somebody, it's kind of that energy of, after that happens, all these other people step forward and say, Libra, I'm so glad you said something, because we weren't game enough to say it. And so you're getting very celebrated because Libra was the one that actually faced the problem and solved it. That kind of thing. And that's going to hold you in good standing there. When it comes to love, your overview for love, we have the stars. I really like that for your overview. That is wishes being fulfilled, dreams, goals being achieved, a reason to have hope and optimism in love this month. Okay, so this, as an overview for your love portion, this is probably one of the best possible things that we're seeing for you here. I'm not going to lie, we all want to, wish on a star. It's kind of that energy. It's like you see a shooting star and you're making a wish, and whatever you're wishing for when it comes to love, this month, that star is, falling from the sky with your name written all over it, Libra. Your challenge when it comes to love is the moon. Okay, so emotions. Okay, and it's not even just emotions, but it's your emotional sensitivities. So your triggers, the things that trigger you this month are your biggest challenges when it comes to love. I'm just going to clarify that one for you, Libra, and see if we can get a little bit more clarity on specifically, what's happening to trigger you, or why your emotions are such a challenge for you this month. Clarifying the moon for Libra's challenge with love in July. The moon clarified by the moon, as well as the crossroads. Okay. That kind of shows me that it's also sort of giving me a little bit of advice there, because your challenge is choices and decisions, and making those, trusting your intuition to make choices and decisions when it comes to love is telling me no. That's you're challenged at the moment by your intuition, because your intuition is actually being ruled by your emotions when it comes to love decisions this month. So, your intuition is going to be telling you things like, I feel angry, so therefore I'm going to make this decision, which is not actually the right decision to make for yourself. It's not your intuition if it's coming from your heightened emotions, if you can actually stop and if your intuition is telling you something, and especially like this is specific to love, decisions, and choices this month, okay? If your intuition is telling you something about a choice that you need to make, because this is kind of just telling me, rash, impulsive decisions, like, um, I'm really cranky at this person, so I'm going to ghost them and never speak to them again. Or I'm going to run away. I'm going to yell at them and whatnot. Those sorts of decisions are not going to work out the way that you actually want them to. Those are rash, impulsive decisions, which is very interesting considering I'm looking at your advice card here as well. No. Okay. I will clarify the advice as well just before I move into that. But it is just sort of showing me that, you are prone to making emotional decisions this month. And that's actually a challenge position. So you don't want to make decisions about love when it comes to, things that are being ruled by your emotions. Clarify the advice energy for Libra with love. Okay, because the advice we're seeing here is the scythe, which normally would be making sudden impulsive decisions, but it's your advice is actually to, like, I feel like it's coming off the back of that double moon energy there of like, don't make decisions from emotions, because it's kind of really wanting to point out the impulsiveness, the sudden, you're going to make these, you're going to cut things out of your life that you're not ready to cut out, and you're going to, make these decisions very rashly, and you won't be able to take them back. So I feel like it's advising you to be very aware of sudden, cutting things out of your life and suddenly doing things this month. Your advice is to maybe be a little bit more conscious about doing things. You can still do things rather quickly and cut things out that you need to cut out. But I feel like it's kind of telling you to cut it out a little bit when it comes to allowing your emotions to control your decisions. We do have the anchor and the garden. So the anchor tells us that that's what you're sort of, pardon, you're needing to make, this is actually reliability. This is, that anchor through the storm. And, you would never cut through that chain and drop that anchor completely. You take the time to carefully pull that back up to the boat so that you can use it again. And I feel like that's what this is kind of trying to tell us, is that, rather than getting stuck in your emotions and making sudden decisions from emotion, wait a couple of days. And if you're still stuck on that idea, then, then you can slowly bring that anchor up and go, maybe now I've thought about it a little bit more, and I've thought about it a little bit more logically, and I know I can rely on that being a good decision because it's not just an emotional one right in the moment anymore. All right, so it kind of is telling us that, that you really need to be aware and very conscious of what exactly you're, cutting this month, because, the scythe is a very sudden cut, all right, and you can't take it back. Once that's been cut, you can't take it back. Whereas the anchor is saying, hang on, hold up, hold up, hold up. Hold on to it a little bit longer before you, just decisively cut things out of your life here, especially with the garden, because the garden actually does tell us here that it's you know actually stop and think about, hang on, can we compromise? Can we meet each other halfway? If we actually sit down and have a meeting about this and talk it out, if I actually go to my friends and ask them their opinions, and make sure I'm not making a decision out of emotion, more objectively, I'm meeting someone halfway and compromising before I do sort of make any very decisive, rash kind of actions when it comes to love, because ultimately I'm wanting these wishes fulfilled. I'm wanting reasons to celebrate. And for a lot of you, I feel like the reason to celebrate is knowing that you have actually stopped yourself from making a rash decision, because a couple of days later you look at it and go, so glad I didn't do that. Is what I'm kind of getting for you there. All right, but it's going to resonate slightly different for everybody as the month goes through here, when especially this love portion, it does seem to be um, slightly different for different people there. But it asks us to talk, to really talk to ourselves and talk to our friends and people that, meet with people that we can rely on to talk this through rationally before we're actually making sudden rash decisions. All right, but that's what we have for you. Like I said at the start, overall, we have celebrate yourself. You deserve it. So it is going to be a month of celebration, but in a very unpredictable kind of a way. But remember, like I said, it is all going to be for a greater reason than you may understand right here, right now. All right, but that's what we have for you, Libra. You're more than welcome to check your other placements. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all again soon.